This is where we go. Well,
D12 on the mix.
Look at them, oh na na. Look at them, cheche pole them. Look at them, see they want me to go down. Cheche pole them. Look at them, oh na na. Look at them, cheche pole them. Look at them, they want me to go down. They can make it, yeah yeah yeah. They can make it, oh yeah yeah yeah. They can make it, yeah 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 yeah. They can make it, oh yeah yeah yeah. They can make it, yeah yeah yeah. They can make it, oh yeah yeah yeah. They can make it, yeah yeah yeah. They can make it, oh yeah yeah yeah. What for you shall see your face, yeah. So I'm not rushing, no. I'm not stressing, no, no. You can love me, you can hate me. That Papa God will do the blessing when you take it from me, yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, no, no. That God will suck it for you too, yeah, yeah, yeah. Me, I'm not fighting when you stop it for me, yeah, 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 yeah. That God will stop it for you too, yeah, yeah, yeah.
well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you again for joining us here on the Liberia Radio and Television Network. We are officially live. It's the first day of the week, Monday. And time check in the eastern region of the United States is 7:57, just 3 minutes to 8 o'clock. And we are here again to bring you the final message, final words for the elections coming up in just a couple of hours in Liberia. And by way of announcement of poll and campaign activities have been officially closed since yesterday, according to the National Elections Commission of Liberia guidelines. And also, polling places will open 6 a.m. tomorrow and will close at 6 p.m. So make sure you be aware of those times so that you can be there and be part of making that decision tomorrow. But again, guys, before I go any further, let me ask you please to share this program on your individual social media page, that is on Facebook. And also make sure to follow Liberia Radio and Television Network on YouTube and Facebook. We have a beautiful show coming up. I'm here with my co-host, Mr. David Talkby. I'm playing host tonight. My name is Derek Yale. But let's hear from Mr. Talkby first of all. Mr. Talkby, welcome again to a special episode, or I say the final episode. We're just here for you guys. So welcome again, David Talkby.
Thank you, Derek. Thank you, Derek.
Yes, guys, as you know, we're here. This is the show for the elections or pre-elections. So tonight we're going to do things a little differently. Very shortly, we will put the link to this StreamYard. If you're watching us and you have any final message or in support of your candidate, or you have any final message to be ready for the elections, feel free to log on, and we will make sure to bring you on to have your words or what you have to say and heard. We will also feature a team of panelists tonight that will later on be joining us. And as always, we'd like to bring you some of the current development coming out of Liberia and the diaspora. So with time being fast spent, I would like to now go over to my co-host, Mr. Tagbe, so he can give us some of the key development coming out of Liberia before the elections. Mr. Tagbe.
Yeah, thank you, Derek, and thank you, and good evening, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning. It depends on where you are this evening from Monrovia, Liberia. The time here is exactly 12 o'clock, and Derek and others listening to me, the elections fever are high. I first started this morning. I first started the morning touring and many communities and driving through Tubman Boulevard, where most of the campaign posters and banners were posted. Following the commencement of our campaign on that was on October 3 or when early October, right? And August when the campaign started, a lot of people do a lot of posters, campaign posters and placards and on the walls, on light poles, huge billboards were all around. So the first thing that they did morning, the fact that campaign closed at 11:59 Sunday night. So I got in a taxi, a commercial vehicle driving through Tubman Boulevard to notice. And what I noticed, and I thought I posted some of them in the chat room, what I noticed that up to 7, 8 o'clock, 9, 10, 11 o'clock, some campaign materials of some of the candidates were still hanging. They had not been brought down, specifically President Weah, Mr. Cummings, uh, the Money Bar, and others. Their campaign material is still up to this morning, up to Monday morning around 9, 10 o'clock. And some were brought down, and I guess by now, all of the campaign materials should be done by now. But there have been pockets of people in different communities in the street corners at intellectual center discussing the chances of individual candidates as to what their chances would be individually, and it depending on which side one finds himself or herself. In politics, people's views and opinion depends on where they sit and what form they sit. Those who are with the cities, yes, are the concern. President Weah would emerge, will win the second term of office. In fact, he'll win by first round. And similarly, the Unity Party has the same perception that it will win first round. All the parties, in fact, have all said that they will win first round. So that makes these elections very unique. That the fact that everybody win elections, and I like their tenacity. The fact that they are confident, optimistic that they will emerge victorious in the first round is something that is driving the election. But the argument that is a vision, what has been talking about the entire election is punctuated on the issues of insecurity, the economy, education, the healthcare. All the candidates are promising Liberians better healthcare, better security, better economy, better uh, judicial system, and that's what these are the issues that are driving the entire campaign. And corruption is also on the top of the list. Many of them are promising that of corruption. Corruption is a menace that is, in fact, that has already eroded the integrity of many of the officials of government, the entire society. Everybody is just corrupt as far as critics are concerned. All the candidates have some shortcomings. People are looking for the weaknesses. During the whole campaign, everybody are talking about the weaknesses of each other, but it depends on what the electorate will say. It's the decision, is the electorate become their employers. So whatever decisions that the electorate will be making tomorrow at the polls will make a determination as to who gets the job at the executive mansion, who gets the job by the national legislature. Those are the decisions that will be made tomorrow. And another thing I can tell, the issue of a voter apathy. Let us not forget that there's so many other Liberians who, as far as they're concerned, they've been voting for several decades, and their votes are not yielding the desired results. These politicians come around, make fabulous promises, make impressive promises, and after they've given them power, their work, you know, do not their works do not deliver the fruits that they expect as voters. So as a result, there's so other many Liberians who say they wouldn't vote, let the people make that decision. And in this case, they'll be disenfranchising themselves. The fact that they've been voting and their votes are not changing their lives. Whenever they vote people into power, they do the same thing. They don't bring about changes. They don't bring changes in their individual lives. So there's no need at the vote. So voter apathy is another factor of these elections. Talking about electoral violence, it's another topical issue. It's a topical issue. A lot of people talking about. In fact, there have been messages of peace and stability from church leaders, pro-democratic groups. In fact, even the Liberal Council of Churches have issued a statement appealing to all Liberians to go to the polls and vote peacefully and play deaf ear to all provocations, because the fact that most of the violence we've heard about are all started as a result of provocation. So all Liberians have been asked or been talked to remain peaceful tomorrow. In fact, there are some radio stations that are now saying, look, if you go and cast your vote, just leave from there and go to your house and put your radio on at the end of the day so you can listen to the results. So before we came on air, you heard about. I heard that the gentleman who was almost stoned to death, the young man who was almost stoned to death in the the Painesville area, the clashes we heard about between ACOP and the ruling coalition for democratic change. The good news that came out of the hospital is that the boy is still alive, but it's in critical condition still. But so he's been looked at medically. So it's a very good news that he is still alive and he's being treated at the hospital. But the CDC, the ACO, and the Unity parties, no one wants to take responsibility. This one doesn't concern the Unity parties between ACO and the CDC, but the CDC is saying it's accusing the Unity Party of partisans of disguising themselves as ACO members to attack the CDC and not ACO member because the CDC, as far as concerned, has a good relationship with ACO. So it doesn't want to believe that it's members of ACO that said it. The Unity Party also issued a statement denying those claims. But as far as the security people are concerned, the investigations are continuing to make a determination as to who really sparked the violence that almost led to the death of that young man. Similarly, the investigations about what happened in Norfolk County, they still continue. We haven't got results yet. As far as we do know here in Liberia that some of the investigations are still unending. There's so many things that happen. Police are sitting investigating, and sometimes people forget and you wouldn't get the results. So we all eyes are on the police and the security forces to do the investigation, and so perpetrators can be brought to justice. At the next office this morning, I was there quite as soon as this morning, and it was a busy terrain, very very busy. Vehicles were on standby to transport election materials to different destinations. The international community were also present, particularly the EU, the ECOWAS, and other groups are all present. There were also international journalists who are already in the country who are here to cover the electoral process. So, Derek, in
Let's
fact, it's all about an
let me
enthusiasm.
let's stay on your coverage of electoral violence because I think it's very important, especially with knowing the history of the relations between elections and then thereafter violence. Now, it's our hope and our goal that this election will be without any violence. But unfortunately, we've had incidents. The issue with Foya, and also just recently, the gentleman who you said, unfortunately, is still alive, but who was stoned to now be in a very critical condition. How is the Liberian National Police? What mechanism are they putting in place to make sure that we don't have any of those incidents tomorrow at all of the voting precincts? And Liberians in general, how are they preparing for the election tomorrow? Are they in fear? Because I spoke with some friends and relatives from Liberia earlier today, and some of them were saying they're getting food for the elections because they're going to be inside. They're afraid that something might happen, so they want to be safe. How are Liberians feeling and
Yeah,
going looking forward to the elections
you,
tomorrow?
you're quite correct, Derek, that there's fear in many quarters. Uh, and that fear was quite recently exacerbated by the publisher of the independent hot pepper newspaper. In fact, now it's being referred to as pro-government newspaper. Philip Brand is one of the big fishes in the media. Quite recently, you remember he announced, I don't know whether you on top of that, I reported that Philip Brown, who is the publisher of the hot pepper, that announced to Liberians and that they should buy food and store their X boxes in their pantries because you know there's a possibility of something spiking up, perhaps judging from what has been happening across the country in terms of violence in Lothar, in Moswara County, in Grange, they will heard about violence. And, it's almost like we said another time bomb, the fact that emotions are high, all political parties and their supporters are determined to win. And there are a lot of people who are not tolerant of any other's views. And this is where the problem is. People being tolerant of views of other parties and being tolerant and putting about thick skin, no matter what one says. So you are a friend or other party supporter from the other side talk to you people should control their emotions, just go and vote for the sake of Liberia. And quite recently, the head of the ECOWAS as well mission in Liberia just this week, just sometime this week, made a statement reminding Liberians of the bitter past and letting not try anything that will reverse the gains that have been made so far in terms of peace and sustaining the peace and stability that we've enjoyed over the past years, and not let the elections, put our heads together to plunge our country into another state of chaos or violence.
Thank you very much, David. Now, as you know, electoral violence is one of the biggest aspects of elections. Just as we can, the people, we in diaspora, we on the media, and those that will be making the decision tomorrow, and the government of Liberia will hope that we all would do something to avoid any type of violence tomorrow in our elections, and after our elections. Now, I would like to drag our panelists right into this discussion. So, if you're watching us, guys, this is the Liberia Radio and Television Network. This is our conversation right before the elections. We have the link to this program. If you're reading the comment section, we have it pinned. If you have anything to say, just log on, and we will bring you on so you can give your take on the elections tomorrow. But welcome, Bishop Hagar and Mr. Jai Winkin. We are welcome to this special discussion right before the election. Let me start with you, Bishop Hagar.
Thank you very much. I'm very much happy tonight to be here to speak on what is going on, especially when you have to do with our country destiny. The election is very critical, very important decision that Liberians are going to make tomorrow. Liberians are going to make tomorrow. It is about the destiny of Liberia. We are here tonight, and let me have a disclaimer. I'm an American, but from Liberia. We are very much interested in what's going on because we have families, we have friends, and we are hugely supporting the economy of the country. So based on the fact that we are spending thousands of dollars every year, even though we don't have the right to vote right now, we have stake in those elections, because when the country is doing well, at least it relieve the burden on some of us economically.
Thank you, Bishop Hagar. Now let me hear from you, Mr. Jai Winkin. We are talk to us about the elections tomorrow, specifically on electoral violence.
All right. Thank you, Derek. Thank you, David. Thank you, Bishop Hagar. As the bishop just said, I want to appeal to all Liberians. Even though we support individual candidates separately, but Liberia bigger than any other person. Liberia is bigger than any county, than any district, than any candidate, than any position. Without Liberia, there will be no position. The good thing about this election is that I'm happy that at the close of the polls, each voting area or precinct will be able to count the votes right there and post it so that people will know. In that way, we will all track. So those who are fearing that there will be cheating, with that there will be transparency, because at the end of the day, you're going to have represented, the international community also going to have represented, so everything will be watched carefully. I know many people are not going to vote, so it is possible that people will vote and people raise that will not vote. So people may not use, okay, we have this number of people raise that, you must rather how can the number of people counted. Well, it will depend on how many people that really cast their vote. So for those people who register to vote, it is good that the polls are going to open 6 o'clock in the morning and they will close 6 a.m. If you don't vote, it means that your vote will not be counted. Bearing that voting card alone is not enough. You have to actually show up and vote. And if you haven't figured out where to vote, ask people right now so that you will know where to vote. Because if you go somewhere where your name is not listed, you don't be allowed to vote in that particular precinct. So it is very important. If you haven't heard, or if you haven't identified where you're going to vote, find out from friends and see where actually you're going to vote. I don't know how it will be done, but then I want for all of us, we are all Liberians, whether you are in America, whether you are in Hillsborough, wherever you are, we are all Liberians. Liberia is the only identity that we're all proud of. So I would like to appeal to all Liberians based on the result of the Civil War. People die innocently. So we can all argue, we can do anything, but we should avoid violence. In every fight, in every election, there can be a winner. In every competition, there can be a winner. If you don't win today, you try next time. If you don't win today, that is not your time. But it doesn't mean you should go and fight other people. So don't keep speech, don't cause people, don't hate people because of elections. Election, this is just process of selecting someone because everybody can be president, everybody can be representative, everybody can claim to be that. So to avoid the confusion of people claiming to be who, that's the purpose of election, so that we really decide who should be the leader. So I will appeal to all Liberians that we should remain peaceful and be calm and respect each other. We should avoid violence. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. John Winking Weir. And just staying on that topic of Liberia remaining peaceful, I think we have the Liberia National Police. And David, you can help me out if you can help me out on this one. What is the Liberia National Police doing, especially given all of this incident of electoral violence and some political party calling it the politics of fear? And it's true, if people are afraid for their lives, most of them are now going to turn out to vote. What is the Liberia National Police doing right now to make sure that voters, voting precincts are safe for voters to come there and to vote for their respective candidates? What steps are the Liberia National Police taking to ensure
Yeah,
that?
yeah, Derek, to be very frank with you, the police have had some problems in terms of logistics and other materials that the police, Liberia National Police needs to be effective or efficient in terms of providing security for all Liberians. Whether those logistical problems have been solved or not is what I don't know. But as far as I'm concerned, the police is in full gear to be deployed everywhere according to the security authorities here. That the police will be everywhere and where the police will be overwhelmed in case of any eventuality, the armed forces of Liberia also be deployed. I mean, to back up the police or buttress the efforts of the police in terms of quelling situations that may be heavy or overwhelm the police to control. So the police, the army will be standing by, but in the meantime, the police is the one that all eyes are on in terms of providing security for all Liberians, every voter. But the challenge, the what is about the police is that public confidence. A lot of people do not have confidence in the police. In fact, the police is branded CDC police in many instances because of maybe high handle investigations, and a lot of people are not very pleased with the police, and so the trustworthiness of the people in the police has eroded or diminished to some large extent. So
Just
the police
staying
is
on. Staying, I'm sorry to interrupt, David, but staying on the police or the people not having confidence in the police. Let me ask Bishop Hagar in that light. You nodded your head as to signal agreement with that particular statement from David. Now, my question is: do you have confidence in the police to ensure safety? And how would you encourage your voters to go out there and still make their vote count, given what David just said, that the people don't have confidence in the police and providing enough security to make sure that the voting precincts are free and they are safe? How would you
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm
yeah.
in agreement with David. The police, in fact, the military apparatus of our country from the inception after the coup in 1980, they transformed themselves to be protector of regime. and the police, the army, and because of that, they had never shown patriotism. That led to the unfortunate civil war that we fought for 14 years. If you look at all the different peace agreement, the AFL, the police, where they were part of the problem. And the 2003 peace agreement actually laid emphasis on giving the police civil civic education. If you look at how the police officer today were trained, I was in Liberia, and the United Nations makes sure that the police respected the rights of the citizenry. That in fact, the police, they are accountable to the citizenry. I used to go places, and the on me used to go to different police stations to make sure and ask for all the cases. If somebody is locked up, they want to know why the person is locked up, and they did investigation. Police officers were dismissed, they were retrained. But today in Liberia, unfortunately, all the good civic education that was given to the police have been thrown in a window. I mean, it's unfortunate. Since the inception of this administration, it's not about politics. Let's forget about politics. There have been so many crimes. I mean, mysterious death, people being found with their body part missing in the street, broad street, all the thoughts being killed, and it's at all kinds. And there have never been one day that the police came up with some in fact finding. They never came up with some conclusion with the investigation. And I believe every time they will say they don't have the resources. I believe that fundamentally there have to be changes. I live in Clifton Heights in the US. The police work for me because of the taxes I pay. The chief of police is being voted. We vote for the chief of police. If you're not doing your work well, I'm telling you, the chief of police is not voted, but the major is voted by us, and the major appoint the chief of police. If the police are not working for us, we are going straight. Every Thursday we have a meeting in the town hall. I go there, and we express, if we see violation, we express our grievances. And if they don't change, we vote the major up, and a new major come in, and new police chief is formed. The police in Clifton have worked for me. They are there to protect me. They're not there to protect the government. I think we need to really look at our security apparatus in Liberia and see how we can change. Because if the police chief of police being appointed by the president or just the minister, and he has all the parties that free, you don't want to lose his job, he pay allegiance to the minister of justice who was appointed by the president. It shouldn't happen that way. The police should be independent, it should be public servant. So Liberians, they not only in George we administration, but the police in Liberia have always when Samuel Dotan, I used to work Minister of Information, the police were never patriotic. The police would deal with the citizens as though we don't have right in that country.
So are you saying that we can't trust the police based on what you just said to provide security for the voters tomorrow? Are you saying that?
I don't trust the police.
Well, then my question would be tomorrow it is expected for over 2.4 million Liberians to come out to vote.
Well, I'm not in Monrovia. David will give us more information whether the police have decided making press statement, whether there was some measure taken by the police to go into the community to assure the people, to have some community engagement with different stakeholders, whether the police have been doing that to inspire confidence in the population. I don't know about that, but David will tell us. But I think the police need to go into the community. Let the people in the community see the police as friend, not as an enemy to them.
Well, anyway, yeah, okay, John, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead,
So,
Mr. William.
okay, yeah. So Yeah, it is a fact that the police, I mean, Liberia almost every year, so I know the difference since when we were in school, do time, all the stuff that happened. But to me, right now, the situation of the police is very deplorable. Um, they carrying batons, only few of them carry arms, um, and the society is infested with a lot of gangsters. So you do not expect a police officer with a baton to go after armed robber. It's not possible. Even if you were to see some of the police officers, the clothes they are wearing, I understand they have to buy their own uniform. And so even directing traffic is a problem in a terrible traffic place. So people don't respect them. They don't have the power to enforce real to deal with real danger when it comes to violence. Um, so, in my opinion, the police officers who are in the force now are not to be blamed because we, the Liberian people, fail them. We fail to equip them. We fail to give them the proper training. We fail to even educate them who to be loyal to because they have used to protecting, beginning with their bosses, police director, and whoever in government. They think they are supposed to be loyal to anyone. Because, for example, if you were anywhere involved in anything that involved anybody in government, whether the person wrong or not, the police, whenever they even ask, they will say, you know who I am. So there are so many things. Now we having a big program, big ceremony, big something, elections that is very in the hand of people. The police people that we don't train over the years, the police people that we didn't equip, there's a high expectation that they will be effective. I don't believe so. So in my opinion, I would like to appeal to why we have the police officers to do their their duty by protecting everybody. Uh, Liberians, we should really self-control ourselves because the police people don't have the resources. So that's why it came to when we really love Liberia, we should love Liberia before we love our candidate. Because if we truly believe that we love Liberia, we should not put any candidate above Liberia. Liberia will always be Liberia. We're all going to go. The land will be there. The people who support it will be gone as well. So, as Bishop Hager said, our police officers have been indoctrinated to believing that they are serving the government instead of the people. And the problem of the reason why it's happening that way is that if you were a police officer and arrested somebody who was a drug who bringing in drug in the country, if the person attempted to bribe you, if you say no, and you took that person over to your boss whatsoever, the boss is going to accept the bribe and let the person go. So there are so many things that went on in Liberia. So the public, I was in Liberia a few different times where I went to the police station. Even if you were to go to the police station, if something happened, they will say they don't get gas or they don't get anything to go to go to arrest the person. You carry the complaint, you'll be required to provide something to facilitate the arrest. So there are so many things that if you think about our country, that's very frustrating. And this big occasion, we expect police people that cannot even quell a little, because I know in the rural part outside of Liberia, I mean outside on the outskirts of the city, you on your own when something happens, police will not even go there. So it boils down to Liberians. We don't have police to control any huge violence in these elections. That's what I'm saying here. So Liberians, we really appealing to Liberians to put Liberia first, no matter who you support. We don't have trained, equipped police to deal with real force, real violence in Liberia.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
there, and
Go ahead,
there
David. Go ahead.
to add up to what Jawan said, quite frankly, the police is not, or let me say, is under equipped in terms of logistics that Jawikan mentioned and I mentioned earlier. And exactly the picture that Jawikan has painted is what is happening. The Liberal National Police does not have the requisite number of vehicles that it needs. And obviously, if you get to the police station, you have to transfer the police officer. The justice system begins with the police. The police arrests and turns the person over to the court system, to the court. And so the justice system begins with the police. So if the justice system begins with the police and the police are not equipped and underpaid, uh, they're vulnerable to bribery, and so you see logistics like vehicles. The police can account of 100 good working functional vehicles. As I speak to you, the Liberal National Police doesn't have it. And most of the people, they don't spend much time at the academy. I mean, to inculcate into them what the role of the police is. I don't know what people that stop teaching even civics in school because of that. A lot of people are not knowledgeable about what their terms of references are or who they are loyal to and who they are not loyal to.
Hmm.
And you first talk about Jared can also mention about the issue of drugs. And then our voters are porous.
Before before
Similarly,
before before you
mhm,
get into that, let's hear from
yeah,
Bishop Hager real quick on the subject
yeah,
matter.
yeah.
Yeah, David. I just wanted to find out in terms of the budget of the net. I think they have what $54 million for these elections. I'm not very sure. Can you verify for me how much were allocated within that net budget? There was no allocation made for the protection of the polling stations, the material, the police be given additional resources in that budget. Do you have any information in that direction?
The National Elections Commission budget is separated from the police budget. National Elections Commission is not going to use its own budget to support the function or the workings of the police. The police should have its own budget, and is the central government's responsibility to provide logistics and finances for the operations of the police, and not the National Elections Commission. And even the National Elections Commission itself, according to David Brown, so many news conferences, that the the money that the Elections Commission needs or needed to make sure the elections are successfully held. The Elections Commission did not receive all those monies except maybe last of the time the government has made available or whatever all the money that they needed to carry on the election. But David Brown has repeatedly said that the NEC was challenged in terms of the provision by the government of the requisite funding, and that was a challenge for the government. In fact, it took time for the government to even pay some reasonable amount of the money that NEC needed to carry on the election. So the election commission said was very pressed to the wall. In fact, David Brown repeatedly said that at most of our press briefings. And but in the meantime, as far as I'm concerned, the police will be deployed. The ball is in the court of the Liberian National Police to disprove what its critics are saying about it, that it's not trusted. So these elections will be another opportunity for the police to clean its record of being one-sided or not being one-sided. So these elections will be uh, a testing time for the Liberian National Police to cover all Liberians, no matter which side you're on, to protect all Liberians. The police have demonstrated that during the campaign period. The government had promised that they would have assigned police officers to all candidates in opposition and officials of the ruling party that were campaigning. So the police demonstrated that the police were deployed to all the political parties and their candidates. And nothing happened, and they did it diligently. We must pat the police on the back in this direction because I
What
found
about
all
the situation in Foya if you say nothing happened? And the situation
Well,
just yet.
no. What I'm saying in terms of protection of the candidates,
Oh, okay. In terms of
the police significantly play a part. What happened in those skirmishes that happened in Lofar and other places? Those people who started to image those skirmishes, they are humans. They didn't control their emotions. Their emotions control them. So they gather each other, and what happened. But the police is not left. It has a prerogative to investigate these cases and bring to justice those who perpetrated those acts of violence in those areas that we're talking about, Neighbor, Lofa, Granjide, Monserrato. So
yeah,
it's a prerogative of the police to investigate.
I understand, David. But my point is just as the police make it their duty to protect those candidates, I think the police have a duty to protect those 2.4 million voters as well, including all Liberian. So as far as the FOIA incident go, one life lost is way too many lives. That's the point. That's the point I'm driving at. It's not
Yeah,
just
there is a statutory duty of the police to protect every Liberian, except that maybe out of ignorance, some officers of the police or the security sector haven't understood this, that they are answerable to the people. Is the people that they are to protect, and loyalties to the people. Then to yes, of course, their protection also covers VIPs and officials of government, but they should understand that the police should cover everyone and not selectively protect people and don't protect the other side of the society. So that's what has been the challenge of the police. The critics of the police have always said that they're leaning on the side of the government. They're too loyal to the government officials, president, and his official, then the ordinary people in the streets. If you see a police officer in the street using a uniform, one set of uniform for almost 5, 6, 7 years, not replaceable, that suggests to you the poverty or the struggle or the challenges of the police in the street. So these people, even if you violate traffic rules, the driver stop by, he shoves something in your hand, he's let go without a fine. So you see how vulnerable the police are because of this underfunded.
well,
The police is underfunded.
as much as I would like to buy the excuse for the police being underfunded, not equipped. I think it's not an excuse because they have their own leadership, they have their own or spokesperson. If they are underfunded, they can speak to them. But my concern here is that they should be able to carry out their duty. They should be able to protect those people that will be coming out to vote tomorrow. Because if those people are afraid, they are not coming out. Which means the status quo remain in place. Those people will not come out to unseat the current administration. Those people will not come out to voice their concern over what's happening specifically to the issue of the police. So tomorrow, like I'll come back to you, Bishop Hager, on this. Like Mr. Jai Winkins just said, it all comes down to the people, which is very sad. The people remaining peaceful, the people protecting themselves, and that is very unfortunate, given the fact that we are just over 5 million people, just 2.4 million people going to the polling center, and it has come down to us telling them to protect for them to control themselves. To provide security for themselves. I think it's very unfortunate. But with that being said, Bishop Hager, with what you know
But
about
Derek, another important point is the police doesn't have the size. The police, just a small police that can even cover the entire country. In some districts and villages, you see
that's
when
still
one
that's
police
still
officer
I
there.
understand that still sounds like the police problem. Because
Yes,
if you
that's
don't
a
have
major problem with the police. And
right,
if you are dealing with the police with lift services and not providing what they need, you weaken the officers because
and I
they
give
don't have the logistics to work
and I
with.
give you and I give you an example, David.
Mhm.
Here, where in the US, way bigger population, over 300 million people. They have elections, their protests be even way massive than protests in Liberia. You never hear of any incident of somebody killing, somebody get killed, somebody dying from that. So my point being, because they have the system in place, the police know their logistic and know how many manpower they need to be able to take care of certain group of people. If the police in Liberia, knowing they have to deal with 2.4 million people, They should be able to train the manpower. They should be able to put pressure on the government to fund them enough to have manpower to be able to provide security for everybody. If they're
My
not,
Derek,
best,
Derek,
that's
Derek,
my best guess is the police. You don't even have the police. You don't even have 1 million police officers in Liberia.
Derek. Let me when we did the gender training for the police, gender equality training for the police the last time when I was in Liberia, that's the time I learned more about the problem within the police. There are other people, most Liberians even prefer to be with NSA than the police
mm,
because the police don't pay. Um, so even if the police or director or whatever was, if you were pressuring the somebody else or the president was, they all loyal to the presidency, they all loyal to the justice minister. So it means that if you are pressuring for this stuff, then maybe you don't want your job. This is where we have problem in Liberia. They will say that the force shouldn't be non-political. So the fact that you are pressing for things, they see that as being political. Even to the point that I understand that even for people to even go outside for training, like if you were trained, they assign you in a district. There are a lot of stuff that go on, including like the traditional or stuff. There was the violent, Sunday Police Society, all the kind of stuff. So if they assign way in the jungle, your wife is pregnant in Monrovia here, you don't get money, even you barely get your pay. People are not even willing, so people are not even willing to go in the rural part of the place because nothing is forthcoming. And this is where you're coming from during that training program. That's the time I knew that really it's a joke. We don't even take our police seriously. So people that go to join the police, they see that as a means of getting job for survival. That little tip you get on the side here and there. If you employ as a police officer, they pay you $100, 150, and it barely even comes. And you pay that rent, you travel, you pay your way every day and there. If you're $100 per month, pay rent, you get children to go to school. So not that I'm not a spokesperson for the police, but this is a plight when I was doing it. That's why I understood about the problem we have about we really need a serious training. We need it even when the force is not too huge, but if they are equipped, then they can intervene. If they are
well,
equipped,
thank
trained.
Thank you, Mr. Jawinkin. We are Bishop Hager. We are in just a couple of hours over 900,000 voters will be coming out in just Monserrado County between 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Over 2.4 million people are expected to be out to cast their votes. Knowing what we know about the police force in Liberia, what message are you going to give to them, Bishop Hager?
Well, the message is the same. Like my friend, we are the saying, and you also saying, and David is saying, we have campaign, we make political statements, we say things. Everything is over. Tomorrow is the day. Liberians, we are asking every one of you to remain peaceful. Cast your ballot for your candidate of your choice. Go home and wait for the result. If you are provoked, please don't respond. Anyone provoking you cannot change who you're going to vote for. Your vote is secret. You are going in there, you are heard the position of all the different candidates, and you are made up your mind. It will be very, very difficult for me to imagine that someone tonight have not made up their mind who they want to vote for. I know almost all the Liberians who are going to vote tomorrow already made up their mind who they're going to vote for. That process shouldn't take very long. I'm just a little bit uh, worried because I heard that there are some polling precincts over 3,000 people there, and considering the difficulties in the country, pregnant women, older people. I don't know what kind of provision is made to give them preferential treatment. For somebody to stand up, if the line is very long, for them to stand in the line, that would discourage people who want to make their voice heard. They say, this thing is too much if the time is taking long. The second thing is, and I don't know, and the law say that when it is 6 o'clock, all those on the line should be allowed to vote. There are places in Liberia where I'm telling you, it is dark, there's no electricity, people are afraid, they will be going by late in the night, they don't know what's going to happen. So I don't know what kind of a arrangement have been made. I would have loved if they had this whole electoral process digitized because they gave national ID card to people and they could just use that system for a lot of vote. But this is where we are. We are encouraging all Liberians. It's a very difficult environment. I sit here as my ballot come in my mail, I vote. I don't even have to go to the polling station. I mail in my ballot. All the voting I've been doing in America, I mail in my ballot. You see, very comfortable. I sit there in my living room and I vote. But Liberians don't have those facilities. So we are asking you, please don't be provoked. I'm hoping that you can, for only tomorrow, we're asking you to make that sacrifice. Some of you will have to stay in line for long hours. Please don't be discouraged. Don't allow your anger to flare up. Don't be insulting people. Don't do anything crazy that can easily disintegrate. Because some people will come to that polling station knowing they want to provoke. You know, I'm thinking about all the different scenarios where people want to come, as we do in Liberia. Some people want to put the rock down for their family members. No, that thing is, if you are there, you vote. And I'm hoping that the election commission have adequately trained their people because they have to go verify their name. And I'm hoping that those people's names are to the right polling stations. Because after you spend 2 hours in line, time for you to vote, they say, we can find your name in the voter roll. Then the person, after spending 2 hours, they will get aggravated. They will start doing something that may disintegrate. So I hope the election commission have done their homework well. That people need will not be somebody raised in Fiamma, where normally I voted in 1985, then they put the person all the way to St. Michael, different place. It's going to be difficult. So I hope and praying, I'm really praying to God that all the different logistic are put in place, all the arrangement in place that tomorrow our people are very hungry, they are desperate, they want to vote, that the election commission, this organization, I'm not saying it is organized, but I'm hoping that the ballot paper was sent today, the ballot paper when being sent today to other places. It's possible the driver can take the ballot paper that is marked for the police here to different place. And then tomorrow, when people come there to vote, then they don't see their name. All those things are provocation. We're really praying to the election commission. I hope you do your homework well. To the Liberians, please don't fall into provocation. Go and vote peacefully and go home. And let's have a peaceful election. We don't want nobody killed. We don't want nobody being hurt. We don't want nothing happen to anybody. That everybody will go home to their family and will celebrate. Whoever wins, we will celebrate. Liberia will win. That's what I
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, come in, David, please.
Derek, I was one of those. I attended the recent news conference or the recent press briefing of the National Elections Commission. In fact, tomorrow the NEC will be briefing journalists on giving some updates tomorrow, early tomorrow morning, Tuesday. NEC will be having a news conference. And the recent one that attended the National Elections Commission, the question of also David O'Brien, was the chairperson of the National Elections Commission about its preparedness, the commission's preparedness in terms of these elections. And her answer was that NEC is well prepared to make sure that elections are held without any problem. And we will hold her to her word, that all logistics, all materials were being deployed. Another part of it is journalists have a very important role to play in terms of making sure that the peace and stability that we enjoy uh, are sustained. The fact of the matter is that there are other radio stations who sometimes what they see on the radio, their analysis, and because we have a lot of radio stations that are pro-government, we are other stations that are pro-opposition, and there are few independent ones. I remember the senatorial elections that brought Senator Dillon to power. A radio station was announcing different result parallel to what the National Elections Commission was announcing, and that almost brought problem in Monrovia. So journalists also have a very important, most especially those on the radio and doing live broadcasts, they have a very important role to play. We have to remember that it's on one radio broadcast that plunged Rwanda into that bloodbath. I remember that quite frankly. There was one radio broadcast that plunged Rwanda into the bloody crisis that they experienced over that particular year. So journalists will have a very pivotal role to play in terms of making sure that the elections are free and fair.
You're absolutely right. And as the saying goes, the fourth essay is the backbone of democracy. So if you
Mhm.
we will encourage all media institutions to abide by the Elections Commission guidelines and not do as you mentioned earlier.
I just want to ask the president of Liberia, David, what did the president of
Dysfunctional.
Liberia did in
Dysfunctional.
terms of punitive action towards a radio station that announced unofficial result contrary to the election commission? Did they take? Is there anything done to such radio entity?
Bishop, he got to be very frank. The president of Liberia, even Jawan saying is a word. Jawan can once contested the position in the prayer, even though he didn't win, but he knows about the modus operandi of the press. Like it's a two-fledged bulldog. What the press, want to do is condemn the journalists, and even if the press, suspends you or expels you from protesting, your media house that you work for wouldn't expel you or wouldn't suspend you. So the press, becomes toothless. Had the press, been given the teeth to bite, I believe they would have been taking some rigid actions to deter unscrupulous journalists to stop the unethical broadcasting or unethical journalism. But the president doesn't have the key to bite. Even if the president punishes you, if your institution, your individual institution that you work for doesn't want to no, reprimand you, quite frankly, you go with impunity. So it doesn't solve the problem. I think it depends on individual journalists to remain within the confines of the ethics of the profession and do whatever to do for the sake of Liberia, for to protect the peace and stability we enjoy. And the media has a very important role to play in that direction.
Yes,
And
man.
I
And,
just
be- and,
want to
beside, and beside that, Bishop Hager, as I speak to you, we don't seem to have a press, Liberia. Since our last elections, uh, that misunderstanding is still continuing. We don't have elected officials up to now. Even those who said they are holding on out of office are not given recognition. So even when they call a general meeting of journalists, only few people show up, few people who are loyal to the individuals who claim to be in charge. But I speak to you, the entire press, is dismantled. And it doesn't have a head, it doesn't have a tail. And so we don't have a president. So maybe after the elections, we will recalibrate
I think
and
that's a,
put it
I think that is
back
a
to that.
major issue for the media
yeah.
institutions to not
I
have
think
a governing body right now is a major issue, especially in this elections period. But let me hear from you, Bishop Higa, and I'll come
No,
to
I
you.
was just want to say something. The population itself is too pluralized. We have people who want to believe their own truth. This is a very serious problem in Liberia. They are not looking for evidence, they're looking for fact-based reporting. They if you say anything that is not convenient for their thinking, automatically they fall into this syndrome of Donald Trump that if it is not in my favor, it's fake news. The only time it is a good news is when it is something that I like. And that is a serious problem in Liberia, even in America today. so that real journalists like you that want to report the facts, people not listening to you because what you're saying don't convince them. It's not convenience for them. They want you to report what they want to hear. And that is a very serious problem for our society.
Thank you
No,
very
and
much.
that is not unique to the Liberian society. Journalists everywhere are always not accepted. Politicians all around the world, even religious leaders wouldn't. They don't. When journalist doesn't say what they want to hear, the journalists are bad journalists. Yes, I know they are bad journalists, but always people want the the reports, journalists' analysis and reports to be in their favor. And when those reports, whether they are factual or not, the fact that those reports don't favor them, the journalist become a bad journalist. That's the perception of people, critics of the journalists. They become
Let's
a
hear from you.
bad.
Let's hear from you, and then wrap this up, Mr. Jai Winkin.
Okay, here is what I can say about the role of the journalists in Liberia that will be covering the elections tomorrow. It is good that at every precinct there will be they will do the counting of the ballots immediately after it is closed. So there will also be problems with some of the ballots, maybe they are not properly cast. So it will, in the interest of Liberia, even if you were to project, you should only announce the results released by each of the precincts, and that would be man. Or even though in Liberia we do the cattle thing, well, they might give me cattle. Those who are journalists know what I'm talking about. This is not about beginning tomorrow. It's not about cattle business. It's about Liberia. Whoever give you money, whoever give you anything, you already did your promo for the person. You did all what you could have done during the campaign season. You write all the good papers, do all the commentary for your candidate. But when it comes to the result of Liberia, I want for all journalists tomorrow you should just report the facts. If there's a violence, report the violence, but report only the result announced at each prison. And one thing I wanted to say is that there are many people in the rural part of the country that will have to trek long distances for election. For those of you involved in that situation, you got to try to get up early in the morning and go. If you know you have to trek 2 3 hours to go to your polling station, you need to go early because if you don't go, your vote will not be counted. Now, because today, I mean, tomorrow is the only time you have. For those people who always I say, okay, this person will give me money before I vote for them. They should pay my way. You should try to go and vote because you are voting for yourself. You are voting for your future, not only the candidate you are voting for, because those you are voting for will make a decision for you for Liberia. So my appeal to all of us is again, peace, and we should take our voting seriously. Thank you.
I need to make a very important information known. I'm a disclaimer, but I thought the information would be very good for us. I'm just checking on the weather report for Monrovia, Liberia tomorrow. It's going to be light rain, not heavy rain, but it's going to be light rain. The humidity will be 91%, 91%, so the humidity will be
The weather
high.
report.
No, I'm just saying it to just let you know because I'm saying
Yeah.
official report here because tomorrow when people go to the polling station, they need to have water around them because it's going to be humid. 91% of humidity tomorrow. So when people stand in line, please, it's very, very important what kind of information. At least water be around there. Some people don't know their high blood pressure level and stuff like that. They start feeling dizzy and all the kind of thing. They need to have the kind of environment with water that people can drink. I just thought it necessary to share that information. It's not for my own self. I just
Yeah, I
went on
know
the
that.
website to talk about West Africa weather report Monrovia. Light rain tomorrow, 91 humidity. It's going to be good. Not heavy rain, it's light rain tomorrow. So we thank God for that.
Very
Thank you,
important
Mr. Hagan.
information.
Before we take a break, Jerry, let me just hear from you. How are political parties and political leaders preparing for the elections tomorrow? I know I saw a press conference from the CDC, and also I saw pictures of the political leader of CPP in different meetings today, high levels meeting today. But how are political parties and political leaders preparing for the elections tomorrow?
What they're preparing as usual, every one of them is optimistic about winning, and that's the point there. And one good thing about it is that many of them, many of the political leaders or party leaders have all issued statements, separate statements, urging their supporters to remain peaceful and avoid violence. And I think that is pivotal to the free, fair, and violence-free elections. The fact that these warnings are coming from those who are leading thousands or millions of people, informing them to avoid violence, vote, and go back to their house and sit there. So many of them are preaching peace, stability.
Thank you, David. Are you with us? I know we're having some
I
connection.
think it's something stuck.
Let's give him a couple of minutes. If not, we will.
I think he's stuck.
Yeah, but thank you, that David. As we wait for you to come back, I know I heard some political parties they were spending the night before the elections at their political headquarters. I was hoping we'll talk more on that. But anyways, I know campaign activities are closed in Liberia, but does the Elections Commission cover Facebook campaigning as well? And also, we will be making a prediction tonight. I know you guys will see your guy in number one place, but I just want to hear from you guys on the top 5. But more importantly, though, if you're watching us, you can participate in this conversation and tell us what you think about the process. We have our.
You hear me, Jonathan? You guys hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. If
Okay, so I was saying we have to wait for Derek to come.
Just go ahead. I was closing anyway.
So many of the political party leaders have asked their supporters to remain calm, go and cast their vote so they leave and go to their house, and play deaf ear to provocations. Play deaf ear to provocations, so that we can have a peaceful process. So maybe we can take a break here. Maybe we can take a short break and come back. As Derek,
I'm hearing you, Derek.
Okay, you hear me? You hear David or you hear Derek?
I'm hearing you, David. I'm hearing you, Derek. But I know that you can hear Derek, David.
No, I'm not hearing Derek. I think that's a problem. I'm sure
all right, we'll just
yeah, you're going to break down.
The production team, I guess, is working in the background to stabilize the situation.
We'll see Raps.
But however, what are your expectations tomorrow? In the meantime, you hear me. What are your expectations, Jawin, can we have before I go to Bishop Jacob while we wait for them?
No, we're going for a breakdown. They say break down.
Okay, we're going for break. Okay, we're taking a break, Derek. I'm not hearing Derek. You hearing him? Thank you.
My name is Bobby Dilawi Sokan Jiro, commonly known as Swaga Titi. Yeah, I'm also here to give you a little tip.
And NASABA is not only here to educate people about violence free, but we also have other programs coming on like promoting safety, so to encourage the public. So please, listen as you go into Titi. The organization.
My name is Bobby Dilawi Sokan Jiro, commonly known as Swaga Titi. Yeah, I'm also here to give you a little tip.
And NASABA is not only here to educate people about violence free, but we also have other programs coming on like promoting safety, so to encourage the public. So please, listen as you go into Titi.
The organization is here to promote road safety awareness and training programs.
Violence may seem like an easy solution, but it has never been a problem solver.
Violence is the brutal or aggressive behavior which intends to inflict peace on others.
Violence in any form should be opposed because we cannot achieve anything through violence.
At the end of the day, violence never really solves problems, but rather create new ones.
Violence is not power, but the absence of power.
Talk is cheap, voting is free. Take it to the ballot box.
This message is produced by NASABA Incorporated and sponsored by Road Safely for Liberia, USA, in support of the next 2023 elections.
Liberians are members of social clubs, 501c NGOs, and school alumni. Many Liberians are trying to open their own 501c NGOs, home care agencies, and social clubs. Does your organization have a professional website? Does your web platform have the right wording and content to attract grants? Hopefully you're not running your organization only through social media. There's a more professional route. You need an online space where you can craft a positive message about your organization, making your home health agency more credible, which will increase your chances to receive grants. We'll build you a responsive platform for 501c organizations, healthcare agencies, and other types of organizations. We'll provide you with full website maintenance, membership sign-in, private charts, Facebook and WhatsApp integration, live video feed for all your meetings and special occasions, a dashboard for members to see all the activities, and email and text auto reminders for meetings. We'll build with donors and 501cs in mind, and will help you solicit grants and automatic membership due collections. Building you this amazing platform will only be a membership fee of $19 a month. Call or email us now. Let's upgrade your website. Home health agencies and small businesses, you owe it to your company to project the best image possible, and we can make it happen. Visit www.tiamit.com or call 215-966-8679. Ask for Tommy.
Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. If you're watching us right now on the Liberia Radio and Television Network, you're watching a pre-elections conversation right here on the LRTN Facebook page. So do us a favor, please share this program on your social media page, on your Facebook page, and encourage your friends and family to join us and have this conversation. And by saying join us, you actually have the opportunity tonight to join this live stream. We share the link with you. It's been very in the comment section. So if you have anything to say about the process tomorrow, anything you like to add about the entire elections campaign period and the actual day tomorrow, please feel free to join the conversation. And the website is right on the screens, but I'll read it out. It's https streamyard.com/RBFNMA 3K7N close bracket. So that's the link to join us on StreamYard to have this conversation. As you know, tomorrow or just a couple of hours away, over 2 million Liberians will actually be expected to be at polling places tomorrow to cast their votes on their respective candidates. So we will be having conversation here with our panelists, and we have more to join us, and my co-host will be joining us again. So come talk to us. Let's have this conversation. Though the entire campaign period has been upon us. We've done that. We've talked about everything. And contrary to what Bishop Hager believes, there are still things that people I still think that there are people that can still change their mind on who they're going to vote for. I still believe there are people that will be having the ballot paper in front of them tomorrow and still change their mind. So we still have time to convince people to vote otherwise, to vote for or against whoever they not do believe in. But anyways, let me bring this conversation to your to the panelists. What the final words? What is the final message? Sell your guy once more. Bishop Hager, let me start with you. I know you're a big supporter of the current administration, so let me hear from you again.
I'm not a big supporter of the current administration.
I knew you was going to correct me on that.
Yeah, I am not. I can never be
You can never be
supporter of a government that is very incompetent, a government that have only fabricated hardship for the Liberian people. The unfortunate thing about the George Weah administration, you see, for 12 years during opposition, they told the Liberian people that they had a solution, that George Weah was the Messiah. In fact, he played football. He has a lot of contact. When he became president, Liberia will be flourishing. George Weah came. The only thing that flourished is George Weah himself. by stealing the Liberian people money, things that he never did before. Imagine this man play football. He never built a decent house in Liberia. I went to a house on 9th Street. That was a shock. He was senator for 3 years. He never did anything. After he became president, he started to build luxurious condominium here, there, and yonder. His wife was in America here. She never built any housing estates in Jamaica. But after the husband became president, to get a whole place in Jamaica that is dedicated, she had built. Where they got the money from? From the poor people. People that are supposed to have access to free medical care. That children should have access to free education. He had just diverted the Liberian people money into a personal use. That is why I'm calling upon Liberians. This is simple. It's not politics. Look at your life today. Look at your life, my people. I beg you, look at your life. I was in Liberia. The nation is not going forward. Hard times have increased. I mean, the hopelessness have increased.
Bishop Hagar, let me ask you a question to that point, though. I mean, there's a saying that you can't cry more than the bereaved. You talk about all of these things about the current administration, how the Liberian people are suffering. They are going through a lot of hardship, poverty, no cool health system. But we saw during the campaign period, the current administration, specifically President George Barnum Weah, he still has a lot of supporters. How do you argue that those people that you say are suffering, they're still behind this man, they're still supporting him? And we saw he filled Anthony Tottenham Stadium. Are you not crying more than the bereaved, or are you saying like what?
I'm not crying more than the bereaved. I'm not saying George Weah does not have supporter. I'm saying Liberians who are sitting on the fence that felt that the government was going to change their life. The government have failed them. So they shouldn't sit home. George Weah was still, he was a celebrity, he was a football. Even the devil, when the devil rebelled against God in heaven, he told 1/3 of the angels. So even I don't care how wicked you are, as long as you have power, you can still influence some people. You can still influence some people. Look at all that, even in America here. Let's be honest now. With all the thing that Donald Trump is doing here to this nation, all the lies, there are people that still support him. So I'm not saying people are not supporting George Weah in Liberia. No, he has supporter. I'm not against that. George Weah, that's democracy, but I'm talking to my Liberian people. Those who thinking, oh, that they got, that the people tell leave it. No, you should go up there and vote. Vote against this government. This government is incompetent. For 12 years, CDC went all around and called the Unity Party all kinds of name incompetent. That Unity Party was the problem for Liberia, and they had a solution. What solution? Man, foot. What solution? They are worse up. I'm not saying the Unity Party did everything well. Not what I'm saying. I'll be honest, we learned. We made some mistakes. Yes. But we have qualified, competent people. This government have not been able to attract. David is a journalist there. Some months ago, David, you can deny or confirm this story. The representative, the United Nations Development Agency representative in Liberia came and told the government, they said there was money available in the UN system to help Liberia for the schools, for the hospitals, but those land ministers that are supposed to write a policy framework to bring the money in, that the money can get in the government cover, they cannot even read the paper. And the government came right at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and told them, say, now that we don't have the money, but your people have not been able to submit the paperwork. That is the incompetency of a government. People just going around all over the place doing nothing. So this government need to be taken from power. If you allow George Weah and his buka dancer to continue, they will just be dancing buka and the country will sink into, complete complete just hopelessness, my people.
Bishop Yeager, be fair now. Is there anything that this government has done that you can acknowledge? Anything positive this government has achieved that you can acknowledge in all financial politics aside? Hasn't the government done anything favorable to the country or beneficial to the country that you can acknowledge? Or
What? Listen.
let me fair. Let me fair.
I
Now.
want to be fair. I want to be honest. No politics aside.
What has the government done to parties on the back from?
I haven't seen nothing. I say you educate
Nothing
me.
at,
I have
nothing
not
at all.
seen anything. Not one thing I've seen from the government. Not one thing.
But
Look,
is there
5
any
years,
failure of,
David,
is there any
David,
is there any
David,
failure of the United Party
David,
that you
David,
can acknowledge?
David,
Is there any
David,
failure of the
David,
United Party that you can
David,
acknowledge on the show?
David, let me ask you one question.
No, I'm asking you. I'm
Okay.
asking you. You don't
Okay.
ask me. I'm asking you. I'm the co-moderator, not you.
Okay, good.
So
Go right ahead.
I'm asking you a question. United Party ruled this country for 12 years. Is there any way that the United Party failed during the 12 years that you can acknowledge as a United
Yes.
Party thing? What did it do? What didn't it do correctly that you want to talk about? You want to
You know
acknowledge?
what would they not do correctly?
No.
What are some of the
My
shortcomings of the United
understanding.
Party? Yeah.
In my understanding, the people were hungry for so long. We wanted to build system. And while building the system, some of the people were hungry. The difficulties is that debt forgiveness, put in place all the different government mechanisms, but they were good policy. But the people needed food on their table on a day-to-day basis. United Party felt that the way they are educated and understand of government, how the people on the ground understand of government, that's a mistake we made. We're supposed to be politically smart to make sure that we don't follow all the policies, but help the people on the ground level to have something in their hand. People are now thinking about policy. Like people are not thinking of policy. Take for example, people want, like, for example, George Weah built, took money and built, what we call it, the
Condominium?
football, the park there.
Yeah, the invisible part.
There were things that we could have done. Because for us, we put all the prioritize building schools, building hospitals, going all around setting up policy guidelines how to curtail government expenditure, spending money on auditor to come in all the different ministries. We are taking some of the money and just do some quick impact program, immediately feel the impact. We did not do that.
And that's how people are now. That's how people are feeling the impact of the invisible park that the CDC government has built, a recreational center for young people. I think it's making some impact to some extent.
I agree.
So it's a contradiction. You are said.
No, it's not a contradiction. You know what?
You are said that there's nothing.
Listen, what I'm saying.
Government has done.
What I'm saying is that the money that was used to build the invisible park came from government coffers. Then for them to say it is George Weah that built it, that's my problem with that. I'm not saying it's the wrong thing.
So we're now lowering the bars for development to the level of building or invisible state park. How does that park improve the lives of Liberians? I don't think in any ways. I think, in my opinion, it's a misuse of government money. But that's a discussion.
You know what?
That's a discussion for another day.
For me, this is how I see it. It never happened in Liberia before. For people to go somewhere where they can have their family sit down, they can drink some.
You see, Bishop Hager, then at this point I have to flag the contradiction because earlier
it's not flagging contradiction.
Bishop Hager, I wanted to let it go, but now you're making me to flag the contradiction because earlier David asked you.
David asked me an important question. I answered. David said, "What we have done better."
Let me finish because earlier David asked you, is there anything you can point to from this administration that you can say, oh yeah, they did a great job? You said no.
The
up
invisible
until
pack.
up until
The
the
invisible
point when
pack. In 5 years, they built invisible pack. I gave them thank you. Thank you for invisible pack.
There is
you
your
know
own uncle.
Yes.
There is your
Yes.
own uncle.
They built invisible pack.
let's move on. They don't see the good things until you start comparing the political party with their political party, then they can see the good things. But let's come to you, Mr. Jai Winking Weir. Now, one may argue, right, that 6 years is a relative short period of time for government to achieve or to implement their plans they have for the country. In the case of this administration, the pro-poor agenda. What if they are arguing that they need 12 years, just as the previous administration, to be able to fully implement their pro-poor agenda for the Liberian people to benefit? Now, is that an argument that you think that Liberian people should look into and give this administration a second term, or do you think based on their performance in the past 5 to 6 years is enough to kick them out? Let me hear from you, Mr. Jai Winking Weir. You're muted.
No, it's from the control, not me.
All right, go ahead. You good?
Hello, are you hearing me?
Yes.
Here is what I'm saying. Here in the United States, we got 4 years for the presidency. In Ghana get the same 4 years. I think Nigeria get about 5 years. Let's look back and see what this government did. I was just make reference to the COVID time. During the COVID episode, the government of Liberia earmarked $25 million. $25 million. They said they were going to feed people with food. Nothing came out of that money. When the peak of that season, I went to Liberia then 2 or 3 times. When here in the West, when the people were using the money to do something, the Weir government instead, they had only one center in Liberia, COVID. If you pay here in America, if you get at the airport, they say they don't get it. They raise millions out of COVID. I'm not against raising money using such crisis, but what did they do? The hospital, JFK, all the other centers, that money was supposed to be used to do nothing happened. So the reason why we should not go back and Unity Party should not go back, the two of themselves, they understand that our country, Liberia, has a great problem of structural problem. From day one, you can't develop by guessing games. You can develop by what the president wants. Because of really study that, let's say for example, I don't see why people are not prioritizing making sure that there is a water supply to the entire residents of Monrovia, the capital city of Liberia. I think any administration that has good plans, that can be probably number one in year one. Year two, you can do electricity. If you want to count something that you have done, there should be a plan. Because trust me, if there is a water supply to all the houses, even if you don't get water, if you got even little pumps, hand pumps in the communities. But what I'm saying, the reason why these two parties should not be elected is that they are not willing to change the system. We need to revamp our institutions. We need to have a system where everything will be projected with timeline. Estimate how much it will cost, for example, to make sure that we get water supply to the entire city. How the government will raise the money, where the money will come from. And the government announced that this is what we have to make sure that there's a water supply to the entire city of Monrovia. Because when there is a water, there will be more companies. When it's a power, there will be more investment.
Thank you,
That,
Mr. Yeah, let me add this, and I will stay with you, and then I will go to Bishop Hager on this. 18 years later, after the war, 18 years later, two political parties have had leadership of the country. We still do not have access to quality drinking water in Liberia. Electricity, those are development that can take
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
less than a year to power up just Monserrado County, power up the entire Liberia, provide water and provide electricity to. It can take less. That's a year time project. Why?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think they can do one of these projects in a year time, because once you take on Monrovia as a whole, look, imagine Bishop being to Monrovia. Look at how people in the street looking for water. David can attest to that. They carry the big gallon, pulling this. People instead of working, instead of even women, there is no water to drink. There is no water in the homes. Water is life. If you truly love Liberia, if you truly love anything, the capital city, Monrovia, which has 1 million people residing in that city, no water aside from residents people live in. Look at government offices, including the Capitol building. No water. How? How do you think? How do we consider that as a government? Then, aside from that, you get our people in government making money, like our lawmakers making money than the United States senators. But they can't have water in the Capitol building. They can't get water to the executive mansion. They can get water at the foreign ministry. If you go in a bathroom, sorry to say this, you gotta use bucket. Are they serious? And that is why, aside from politics, Liberia first. I don't want to think about big things, but I think water is life. Any government that is not ready to prioritize the supply of water and electricity to the capital city, let's forget about the entire country first, is not serious to lead our people.
Thank you, Mr. Jai.
That is why I say Tiawan say Gone Globe will change that. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Now let me hear from Bishop Hager on this. 18 years later, Bishop Hager, and the political party that you do support is responsible for 12 of those years. We have the Tiawan Gongo and Mr. Yakba will fly up. The production team, that is kind of a deviation from our conversation right now, but okay. But Bishop Hager, let me repeat myself. 18 years later, we still don't have drinking water in the entire, let's just say, Monserrado County.
Yeah, think about only Monrovia alone first.
Monrovia, not even electricity. 18 years later, and you're telling Liberian people, I understand if you say do not re-elect President Weah. He performed poorly in his turn, in his first term. But what about those 12 years? And we still don't have those things in place for drinking water and electricity. Those are things that are very basic. Bishop Hager, how do you convince voters to say, for this person, even though we're responsible for 12 years, we're not able to provide you water, we're not able to provide you electricity? How do you convince someone to vote the Unity Party now? They have a couple of hours to make that decision.
Thank you very much, Mr. Derek, Yale, and David. Both of you are journalists. If you want to make the comparison, I want you to be as honest and fair, considering the context. Unity Party came to power in 2005. Where was Liberia? David is there. David is a journalist. When we came to power, the last interim government, the annual budget for Liberia in terms of the revenue capacity was $88 million, 2005. When we took over, every aspect of the nation was in shambles. All the schools were down. In fact, there was no teachers. No teachers were non-existent. Those that were there, they were completely demoralized. The hospital, there were no functioning hospitals in Liberia. In fact, the economy was completely down. It took 4 years to work out things to start having some semblance of economic activities. We fought high. We have all the schools repaired in all the counties and districts of Liberia. We went and put a health system, health delivery program in all the counties in our 4 years. The economy of Liberia, there were no money concessions. There was no export commodity. The nation was zero. The only money that was coming in was people that were bringing in, situation, things for the port. The government never had any revenue generation capacity. Thank God to our international partner. They were giving us emergency assistance. The American government said they will not give us any money, and David can verify the only money America through European Union gave to Liberia was the training of our military, the police, the immigration. Check the record. And all the money the American government gave went to training and to face the army, the barracks, and all the areas, the police. It came up. We never had the hydro working. The hydro was destroyed. Brothers and sisters, that is almost $800 million to repair the hydro. How much are we generating in Liberia? We have to convince the German people. It took years. Those things take time for them to come and start repairing the hydro. Gradually, they will start to bring in electricity little by little, little by little. It can't happen automatically. After 12 years, we're able to eliminate Liberia. When George Weah and his incompetent people came, they never had to deal with what we inherited. George Weah came, and in the National Reserve, we have $150 million money that Ellen Johnson Sirleaf turned over to George Weah government to start. All the other indicators for economic prosperity were there. To the closing of our regime, from 2014 to 2017, we have a massive attack of the Ebola. It decimated all the economic activity, all the money concessions that were plenty. Nobody want to come to a nation where everybody getting sick and dying. All the expatriates left. It dwindled our capacity to do economic delivery to our people. But we rebuild the economy and turn it over to the useless citizen people, and they spoil it. They spoil completely. We brought in more concessions to Liberia. Liberians were working. Those other concessions, we revisited them and gave them more ability to employ Liberians. So Unity Party is the way forward. Nobody here can tell me that in 12 years we did not do anything. We made a nation in shambles. You are a journalist. You are a serious man.
You,
We are.
do not allow him to put you in that.
I know what you're talking about.
No.
No, Mr. Hega, they didn't wipe him because
Let
look.
me close. Will you allow me to close?
Okay, sure.
At the end of the 12 years of Unity Party, I know Liberian people have their own opinion, but if I'm going to evaluate opinion on nation development, prosperity, I will look at institutions that have been doing the nation building all over the world. What was the grading of the IMF on the Unity Party government? What was the grading of the World Bank on the Unity Party? What the African Development Bank said about the Unity Party government? What the ECOWAS say about the Unity Party government? What the European Union say about the Unity Party government? Tell me, are you telling me ordinary Liberian in the street know more about nation building than the European Union? They know more about nation building than the World Bank? They know more about nation building than the African Development Bank? Come on, man. All the institutions graded the Unity Party government as one of the best ever in Africa. So you tell me now, what do Liberian people know about nation building that the IMF don't know about, that the World Bank don't know about, that the Bretton Woods don't know about? Maybe you're reading something different.
if your
So
government,
so we are not reading anything different, but here is the fact. No matter how you frame it, selling government did not change the current structure of governance. That's the problem. I'm not talking about it, no matter how much the IMF say or the other, but we are talking about the impact, the improvement of the livelihood of Liberians as how I measure my progress in terms of development. I don't look at if you like it, if you say we are say okay, that people can that's we say, oh, we are can I made Joe Biden, Joe Biden. How does that put money in your pocket? How does that take you to? I'm talking about the impact of the Liberian people, people who are suffering, not the people that are in the street, people that are begging every day. So with all the money, with all this stuff going on, how do we change
You know,
life?
I asked your
That's my
man.
concern.
I asked your man when I met your candidate in Philadelphia. I get picture I'm gonna send. When I asked Gongolo, I said I like you. All the good things you say. He met with us as pastor. I asked him. I said, Gongolo, how are you gonna pay for all these things? Because he promised him so many good things. You know what he said? It will pay for itself because you fight against corruption. So the money that will be saved, the how he going to sponsor the program. I say that political talk. Gonglo, you really don't understand that political talk.
Well, I
Gonglo
understand what.
have utopic ideas. But the
No,
reality on the ground, he doesn't understand. You need big money. You know, all that program he promising free food and free education for the people. Where are you going to get the money from? They say when you fight corruption, then you're going to pay for it. Listen to me, man. Give me a break. How much money corruption going to save from the Liberian? No. The budget of that country is 800 million. Sorry to say this. Derek, please tell him just to run the city of Philadelphia, the annual budget is 12 billion. You have a whole nation, 800 million. You're joking. You know why Liberia behind? Because the leader don't know how to bring in money.
But that's the that is the point. That is the point. If here's what I was saying. If somebody who is an investor coming to the country, you call for court, forget about your people. So no matter what they do, whether they are devastated or not, and that has been a situation. The point here is that the Liberian people can see once people can internalize what you do. If you tell somebody, say, look, as I was talking about the water problem, if you realistically come with a budget and say this is why it will cost the government of Liberia to have water running throughout of Monrovia, and say, but this is what the government has. Realistically, if you are perfect, if you really do it, I know Liberians are very good people. We love our country. Even if you say this is what the government doing, if you do part of that project, they say they will need this, I need $20 for every Liberian. Even Liberian will, people will pay something and something will be done. But what I am saying is that there is no transparency in transaction. And listen, again, the international community, when they see other African countries did it, when they
guys,
other African countries did it.
Let's talk about first-time voter. Go ahead. Let me let you
for the first-time voters.
Yes.
Here is a problem, and this is why I wanted to talk about this, and this is why we are still has the support of the young people.
You think President Weah has the support of the first-time voter?
The support he has right now. Here is the reason why. When I was in Nickel Town, I remember very well. We used to pay 25 cents to take a bus from Douala to Effie to Oro, all that stuff. We used to do that, even though things were tough. But unfortunately, when the war came and destroyed the country, no light, no electricity, nothing. So most of the children that are born in the war or after the war have no idea about the semblance of stability, about how beautiful the country was. So when we came here, people came inside doing these things. That's the only experience they had. Modern, like the thing we call keke now, they used to call it. They used to say ice cream from India. I forget the name they used to call that in there. Baja. That was the name they used to call that thing. You can't bear with me, Baja. Baja. How they used to call that keke there? It used to be in Liberia. But what I'm saying is that we were suffering because myself, when I came to Liberia, I mean Monrovia, I used to sleep on pews, the sitting time in somebody's inside house in the place there. But there was at least resembling of livelihood. But during the war, during the war, so because I was arrested by rebel people here and there, but the killing of people, that mentality. Right now, if you go to Liberia, we are still traumatized, meaning the entire society. We are still traumatized because
actually, Joe, don't have the first time voter.
So people heard about we are best footballer, best day. Because I was in Monrovia, morning road about we are coming again. This and that. They say you're gonna build road from Crown Hill, right there across the bridge, all the kind of stuff. So the youth that behind we
I think Bishop Hager said he disagree with you that the first time voter going to support President.
No, I'm not saying they're gonna. I'm not saying they're gonna support we are, but what I'm saying is that the reason why those who struck with him do is what I'm explaining. Because the only thing they have seen, the only thing they have, I mean, they never saw Liberia before the war.
Okay, granted. Now, so who are you thinking the first time voter are more likely to support, given what you do know about the situation in Liberia?
The first time voters, from apart from my own observation, and I have been talking to a lot of people doing Liberia, including my own. I see most of the children that I talk to, they talk about Boakai and Weah. I'll be very honest on this show. They talk about either Boakai and Weah. And if I ask them, the reason why they say is that, like Bishop was there, the other people don't get numbers, for example, and that's why they take. So, but.
Let me. I'm sorry, but let me hear from Bishop Hager on this whole first time voter thing. Bishop Hager, who do you think the first time voter are more likely to vote for?
Well, the first time voter in Liberia, the vote, to be honest, is split at different level. It's very, very split. Based on the work. Because if you look at Liberia critically, no, it'd be very, very difficult for me to be. I really want us to have first round victory, but you have a lot of different groups that campaign for vote in certain sector.
Right.
And don't forget, what people don't understand is that they depend on the candidate, the representative and the senatorial candidate. Representative candidate more likely in district, for example, the guy from my district 8 in Monrovia, has a lot of young people following him. You understand? And if you mobilize those young people that will vote for him, those people likely will vote for the candidate, presidential candidate that he tell them to vote for. So you see that, for example, it's going to be split. You can't say that the first time voter going to vote for this in bulk for this candidate. It depends on at the grassroots what kind of candidate, representative candidate that you have at that district level that influencing the young people, and that young people vote will be really transmitted to the presidential.
What do you think your guy, that is Ambassador Joseph Yuma Boakai, will be getting most of his votes from? What do you think? What is his strength as far as first-time voter or elderly voters or the women population? Where do you think Boakai is going to be getting most of his votes from?
Yeah, and listen, most of his vote coming from disgruntled seditions.
Disenchanted and disgruntled seditions. That's important to note.
Yes, because
why you say that?
What? The people that said it. Those that went to the stadium said, Pape, we're sorry. We made mistake. We voted in 2017 for this man we call Messiah. He deceived us. Let me tell you, I'm not talking about there are so many. Look, George Weah, with the crowd you saw, he's in power 6 years. He has money. He can govern all the NTA bosses. He has people to go and pay people to come. So based on the natural law that Liberian people have for George Weah in 2017, and based on what he's putting on right now, he lost a lot of votes. The man never had anything. In 2017, you saw the crowd. The people buying their own T-shirt. They buying their own T-shirt. Now, they turn around.
Either one buying there now.
Joseph Boakai, the young people buying their own T-shirt and printing their own T-shirt. They sending a date for George Weah in 2017. There's the enthusiasm, the commitment, the sacrifice for Joseph Boakai. And just imagine everything they said. They ran so much negative campaign against Joseph Boakai, but every time they were throwing the man in wheelchair, the man that died, they made a raising man, the people commitment. Henry Kostaki and thought nonsense. The moment he said it, the people gathered and said, "This is the man we want." You see, the enthusiasm is there. When you look, I saw the video, David. People went in, George Weah went to Lofa. The people wore CDC t-shirt. And after the event, they took out the and had the United Party and say, "We ate the money. We went out there. We ate their money, but Joseph Boakai going to vote for." So the people are tired. George Weah campaigned against himself successfully for the past 6 years. They make him as a president. He even wait for 6 months. He start building horses all over. Is that not ironic? Is that stupidity? If he ran against himself, where he took the money from? Some people know that he been all the people that have been accused of corruption. He are never punished.
But
Bishop Hagan, we've learned from the Moneybai camp, the Councilor Gonglo camps, and even Cummins camp that these elections will be full of surprises. And they make mention of that based on the silent supporters or silent voters populations. How do you speak to that? I feel like Councilor Gonglo believes that he's very confident that he's going to win these elections based on the silent voters. And how do you respond to that? Like, or you think the silent voters are going to be turning away from Ambassador Boakai and electing someone like Councilor Gonglo? How do you respond to that?
Well, if Councilor Gonglo think he have done his work, that the silent voter are going to vote for him, to God be the glory.
But speaking of work, I'm sorry to interrupt. Speaking of work, do you think your guy or Unity Party has campaigned, or Ambassador Boakai has campaigned more or has worked harder since Tiawan Gonglo during this campaign period?
Well, I don't know what you mean by work hard. We have done our
who
campaign.
Who have reached out to the length and breadth of this country?
Listen, I respect Tiawan Gonglo. I respect Alexander Cummins. I said when I came here, when we started the show, based on what I saw in Liberia. When I went there, I spent March and April in Liberia. I talked to people. Maybe my survey wasn't scientific, but from the border to Ganta, to Banga, to Kagata, to Monrovia, I spoke to people randomly just to gauge what Liberian people was thinking. What I heard from the people was Joseph Boakai or George Weah. So I concluded in my mind that I never heard anybody talk about Gongolo. I thought over 150 people.
That's why they are called silent voters.
Yes. Okay, let them be silent.
Let's hear for you. Let's hear for you.
If you get a silent voter, to God be the glory.
Here's what I can say about that. I know very well that for the very first time when I went to Monrovia, in Corway, in Newtown, when I talk about Gonglo, people never knew him. But what has transpired for the past month or two, we have people in the 134 administrative districts try to do house-to-house campaigning. Gonglo himself, the whole of water side, one-on-one, one-on-one, one-on-one. So what I'm saying is that there are many people that I also talked to, and they said they like the idea of the broom. But if you were to ask someone, say, why you don't want to volunteer, they say you don't got numbers. But but I like the ideas. Some people believe that, oh, it's a good man, so but able for the next time. Those were the thought of other people. But we use persistent to kill resisting. People who were resisting the door-to-door campaigning. So this is why I believe that there will be surprises. Even in Cornwall, there was a guy who had a club. Before I left, he wanted me to leave in some stuff. I never had anything at that time or post up for Gonglo, even though be a club as a Gonglo club. And most people were saying, well, we like the man, but we are not seeing him. Unlike the other people that we see here, we quiet behind that is good, but we are not seeing him. But so the difference between Gonglo campaign and the rest of the people is that Gonglo got different group that operated independently, targeting people pay for certain things, people pay for this, people are different group were taxed to do different sales. Gonglo got different sales doing different things. Vehicle wise, they were put out. So based on that kind of work, that is why we believe that we're going to put out a surprise, because it was not a one campaign chairman who responded for this and that. Different subgroup were taxed to do different things. So we believe that will bring a surprise result. That's the reason why we believe that.
Thank you. We are just 3 hours and a couple of minutes away from when the polling stations will be open in Liberia. So, but before we get into our next discussion, we'll be making predictions.
The next discussion, I don't think I can continue, man. I had to go home.
We got just a couple of minutes, Bishop Hagar. Just stay with us. We'll take one last break. When we come back, we'll make predictions and then we'll draw the curtain to this. But guys, let's take a brief break. After that, we will get into our predictions.
Okay.
But violence is a crime.
The ballot is stronger than the bullet.
Bad officials are elected by good citizens who do not vote.
A man without a vote is a man without protection.
Voting is not only our right, it is our power. If you do not vote, you lost the right to complain.
Violence is not an option, but your choice.
Your vote, your voice.
Liberia is all we have. Let's vote peacefully.
Vote in peace, not in pieces. Vote, not fight.
Vote is not equal to fighting.
Stop violence.
Let Liberia be a priority.
Make your own decision.
Respect each other's right and view.
Let love reign.
And let all be united.
Let's keep the peace. Respect the rule of law.
Let's stop fighting each other.
Don't be used by politicians. The betterment of Liberia depends on us.
This message is produced by Nasaba Incorporated and sponsored by Road Safely for Liberia, USA, in support of the next 2023 elections.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're joining us from. You're right here again on the Liberia Radio and Television Network. I'm here. My name is Derek Yale, and I'm with my co-host, Mr. David Tucker from Liberia, and a team of panelists, Bishop Hagar and Mr. Ja Winkin-Weah. Thank you for staying with us this far, and we have a couple of minutes before we can draw the curtain on this on this special elections edition. We're just couple of hours away from when the polling places will be open. So as per the Elections Commission's website, we have over 2 million registered voters, 2,080 voting precincts, and 5,890 polling places. And the voting polling stations will be open 6 a.m. and close at 6 p.m. So make sure you make your way there on time so that you can get your vote in and your votes then eventually be counted. And also remember to stay away from violence. We will try to make this election as peaceful as possible. So try to make it your best to be the best citizen you can be tomorrow and stay peaceful always, even when you're provoked. Now I'd like to bring this to our panelists. We'll have this map up. We have 20 presidential candidates. 20 presidential candidates, and I'll ask my production team now to pull up that picture. We have, you see your guy Tiawo Gongo. We have the ambassador Jose Yumabwaka. We have Cummins. We have what's this guy name? Simon Freeman. 20 of them on the screen. So tomorrow, Liberian will be going to the polling places to make a very important decision on who will lead the country for the next 6 years. So I know you guys we're gonna ask you guys to be making predictions, and we'll also have the map of Liberia out, and you can tell us who you think gonna win each contest. So we'll leave it to that. We just stay with the county, not those other subdivisions, as you can see. And so Margibi County, River Cess, River G, Grand Bassa County. So I will leave it to your panelists to give us your predictions. But overall, who you think is going to take the top 5? Give it to us in that order. Let me start. I'm not going to ask you, David, and I'm not going to give my opinion on this. I don't want nobody accusing me of, oh, you wanted this person to be president. So Winking Weah and Bishop Hagar, you are the two people I have here tonight that will give us your prediction. Let's start with the top 5. Let me start with you, Mr. Winking Weah. Top 5.
Top 5?
Top 5.
I think the top 5 will be Gonglo.
Obviously.
Weah. Boakai. Cummings. Is that 5 or 4?
That's 4.
And probably the Lenu guy. Who we talk
Moneyback?
about?
Cyrus
Monba, yeah.
That's interesting. So, what about Simeon Freeman? You didn't put him in the top 5. He ran before last elections.
Wait, okay, maybe, but I don't hear much about him.
I'm not going to add him.
So basically for the counties,
we will come to that. I will call the county one at a time.
Okay.
And then you guys will tell me who you guys think will win those individual counties. Bishop Hagar, let me. I didn't know you're number 1.
Number 1 is
hold on.
Ambassador.
If I even ask you though, Bishop, what do you think about Mr. Weah putting Mr. Ambassador Boakai to the 3rd place?
Weah did not put Ambassador to 3rd place.
He put one where?
Okay, he put in 3rd place. That's his prediction.
Well, okay. Based on data though. But go ahead, let me hear you out.
Number 1 is Ambassador Joseph Yuma Boakai, the next president of the Republic of Liberia. In number 2 position, will be George Weah. In number 2 position. Number 3 position, Arizona Cummings. In number 4 position, based on my analysis, will be Gongolo. In the 5th position,
I didn't hear your number 4. Who you say will be number 4?
Gongolo.
Councilor Gongolo.
Councilor Gongolo. In the 5th position, as I see it, based on what I've been seeing, it gotta be this Moluba guy, Councillor Moluba. How you call your name, sir?
Yeah, Moniba, Clarence
Moluba.
Moniba. So
Clarence.
based on both of your prediction, according to Mr. Weah, Councillor Gongro and President Weah will be going to the second round. Am I correct?
Yep.
Absolutely. For him, let him speak that.
Yeah, I'm asking. He said yes. So they will go to second round, and eventually Tiawon Gonglo will win, according to Mr. Weah. And you're
Any
saying,
other person that will go with we are in the second round will be we are.
okay. So, and Bishop Hager, you're saying that JMB and Weah will go for the second round.
I'm not saying they're going for second round. We are hoping to have first round victory.
So there will be no second round, in your opinion?
No, not that there will be no. But I'm saying we are confident first round victory. If they have to be second round, it will be between Ambassador Joseph Newman Boakai and George Weah, President George Weah. I want to give him some respect, President George Weah. And that second round, that will be the end of CDC because we are massively going to beat them.
Let's talk about prediction as far on the county levels. Let's have that picture up again. We'll start from the left and then work our way up. And Bishop Hager and you can just shout it out. Who your team's gonna win in those counties? Let's start with Grand Cape Mount County.
Grand Cape Mount County, Joseph Boakai.
That's pretty confident.
I believe Boakai will win Cape Mount as well.
Boakai, Mr. JMB. What about Bapalo County?
Bapalo will be split there.
Between who and who?
Boakai and George Weah. The reason why I say is our man that was very strong there, he died suddenly. So for us to get all our campaign activity going on in Bapalo was a challenge. So,
what about you, Mr. Weah, Bapalo?
Bapalo. For some reason, I believe that those counties that are close to Lofa, Ambassador Boakai will do very well compared to the last time.
So JMB. And then Lofa.
That Lofa, don't touch it. Don't touch Lofa. That Lofa, don't touch it.
So that is all right. That is Mr. Weah and Bishop Hager, right? Saying Lofa for JMB. Bombing County.
Bombing County for JMB.
That's one thing. Help me on this. Bombing County, Mr. Weah.
But all the counties on that side, Boakai has an advantage because my based on the Liberian orientation, I think they need somebody from this at this time from their side. So they will, despite all the Rimaro people go around and say that they want their own person on their side as well. They want to have president on their end.
Let's talk about the battleground state, the battleground county. I mean, that state, Monserrado County.
Monserrado, there will be no single man that will win that Monserrado.
Somebody got to come on top. Somebody
got to get somebody will be on the top of Monserrado County. But I think Monserrado, I predict either Cummings will do well in Monserrado, as people may not overlooking. Cummings, Boakai, Weah, and Gong will be the fourth in Monserrado.
So CPP will be number one according to Mr. Weah, and then Bishop Hager.
Well, we are Ambassador. Joseph Newman Boakai will go to do very well in Monserrado, and Monserrado will have some CPP will do well in Monserrado there. CPP. This guy Gongolo, yes. Those guys from Nimba, because a lot of people from Nimba in Moserado right now, they will give their vote between Bwaka and Gongolo in Moserado. So
Who you think is gonna come out top?
Ambassador Joseph Bwaka coming on top. I would give CPP second place, George Wiate in Moserado, and then Gongolo fourth place.
Let's talk about Mike Gibby and Bon County. Who you think in top spot?
What for my Gibby, I'm going to give that to George Weah.
Mike Gibby.
The reason is because this guy been using his money so massively there in my Gibby. This my gay guy.
Yeah.
What about you? In Mike Gibby County, Mr. Weah?
I think we are winning too.
CDC. How about Bon County, Bishop Hager?
Bon County will be split, but we're doing a very great job with Prince Moore, the guy that's the senator there that's doing very well. But with Joy Howell supporting Bon County, we're supposed to do. If we look up first, we will be around 48% in Bon County.
So you're saying who's gonna come up first in Bon County?
I'm talking about CDC and Unity Party. If we come up first, then we'll be in second place there.
What about you? Who's gonna come first in Bon County?
Bon County, we're gonna do well there in Bon County. Bon County, if we not come first, we'll go second.
Thank you. LPP first in Bon County. So how about Grand Bassa County and Nimba? Just trying to run through this. Welcome, Reverend Addy. We're making predictions.
What waiting for you? What happened?
That's when we're about to wrap and enjoy the curtain. Reverend Addy show up.
I was on the Bridge Radio Network.
Okay.
Doing another interview.
Okay.
Well, we're doing Grand Bassa is for us. Unity Party taking Grand Bassa. The only Kanga, don't forget, she's a rescue auntie and mother now. She been doing a great job there. That girl been doing Kanga. Oh my God, she already been doing some great work.
So Grand Bassa kind of going for CPP, right, according to your prediction?
No, I said Yombli Kanga is with the rescue team, not CPP. You don't know the difference between CPP and Unity Party.
You know, Unity Party came from CPP, so that's a conversation.
No. Unity Party never came from CPP.
Mr. Weah, the show early finished. Mr. Weah, Grand Bassa County.
Grand Bassa County. I think Grand Bassa County. I think Bwaka gonna do well there. So I think Bwaka may take Grand Bassa.
That's a very strong prediction. What about you, Reverend Addy?
Joseph Bwaka will carry Nimba, Bon County.
Let's just stick to Bon County for now. Grand Bassa.
Bwaka can win Nimba. Gongolo gonna win Nimba.
Let's finish this up real quick. Reverend Addy, Grand Bassa County, you say Bwaka, Nimba Bwaka.
Lofa Bwaka.
Oh Lord. Mr.
I agree with you on that one.
Bassa.
Mr. Weah, Nimba.
You got
Nimba. I say Nimba. I say Gongolo.
Nimba Bwaka. Sano Bwaka. Okay. Jeremiah kuna sapo me himana gio me. Ame himana gio womo.
Yeah.
Nimba County.
Jeremiah kuna sapo guy.
Nimba is obviously with Jeremiah Kun, Prince Johnson on the rescue team. We are assured of victory in Nimba.
What about River says?
River said, Joe, we are taking it. Joe, all the River said, people for Joe, we don't want it. Let them go.
And my candidate down there, you say for Joe, we are or Bishop Reverend Addy.
So when you look at the Bassa belt, Montserrado, Margibi, Grand Bassa, River Cess. Those 4 counties. There will be a major sweep there for Ambassador Boyka. A major sweep. Those 4 counties. Montserrado, Margibi, Grand Bassa County, River Cess. The only reason why I will not add River G, because I know they're close to speaking crew, and politics is tribal in many ways. So those counties, the Bassa people are one of the largest tribe of people in Liberia, and they stretch from Montserrado straight through those geographic areas. And right now where they stand, right now where the Bassa people stand, thank God for, Charlene will do fine, but you see, you got to know the understanding and history of the Bassa people. That's what I'm saying. You got to understand the nature.
River County? CDC or Unity Party?
River County?
Yes.
Are they same Bassa people?
So for CPP?
Work out with carry A, you say CPP?
Okay. I just want to run through this. I will come out
Charlie will win. Upper Buchanan, Lower Buchanan, Folesville.
We got Sano, Grand G, River G, Maryland, and Grand Crew to go.
The group will give photos to Alexander Cummings in Maryland. Georgia will come second in Maryland. We're taking Sano and Grand Crew because the people told Georgia they want a rescue team. So we're taking Grand Gide part of the CDC headquarters. So they didn't take Grand Gide. The whole case closed.
You said Bishop Hagan saying Maryland for Cummings, right? Do you agree with that, Reverend Addy?
Cummings will win Maryland?
Yes.
He win it last time. He win it this time.
I'm asking you, do you agree with Bishop Hagan?
That he might win Maryland?
Yeah, that he will come out top in Maryland.
I really wish he does something this time around. If George Weah, if they put him follow George Weah in his own hometown, I really wish he does something. I'm hoping he wins Maryland.
Who do you think is going to come top in Maryland?
I would just. I want to say about Grand Gide. Gongle is going to do well in Grand Gide because there are a lot of people from nearby Grand Gide. There are 7 sections of Grand Gide.
Derek.
Yes.
Derek, unfortunately, we don't have much time. But these predictions that they're making, the predictions the panelists are making are not historical. They are not statistical, and so they just mere predictions. For example, if you say Joseph Boyka will win Lufkin, how well did he do during the last elections? If you say Jowiah win Sino, how well did Jowiah do in Sino in the previous elections? So the predictions here, they're just open and mere predictions. They're not statistical or historical, because if you say Bishop Ade or Reverend Ade will win Grand Crew, how well did he do in Grand Crew in previous elections? I think so. Perhaps it's because of time. What are the factors driving their predictions? What are the historical or statistical factors driving their predictions?
Let me answer that.
Go ahead, Reverend Adi.
In the last election, Joseph Boyka won Lofa. In the last election, Joseph Boyka came 38%. George Weah, who was a celebrity, Joseph Boyka came 28%. George Weah, who was a celebrity, came 38%. In second round, George Weah came 61. Joseph Boyka came 38. George Weah came 61 on a coalition of Nima County, as evidenced by Prince Johnson's support for him, NPP, as evidenced by James Barney and Joel Howard Taylor. Pay attention to that. We're talking statistics here now, right? We're now in these elections. Nima, Prince Johnson comes number 4 in every elections. He said, I'm no longer supporting George Weah. Alex Tyler, that was part of the coalition, now supports Joe Boyka. So those two people support Joe Boyka. Liberty Party, whose political asset consists of Darius Dillon and Yomli Kanga, Jairus Dillon over 1 million 1 Montserrado County. So we can agree statistically he has a following. Yombli Kanga 1 Grand Bassa County, she supports Joseph Boyka. Statistically, we can agree that when the political leader endorses a candidate, his following are likely to vote for the candidate endorsed. So statistically, we are not speaking because we want to talk from our head. We are talking about facts. James Barney is the political engineer that worked with NPP itself. He supports Joseph Boyka. So this is the confidence with which we speak. I certainly agree that there are predictions. We are hoping that they will transition, but these are the factors that we are speaking towards. So let's talk about other factors.
So just
economically.
Reverend Ade, just yesterday, if I say yesterday, not meaning on Sunday, but just quite recently there were elections held in Lofa County, and a CDC, in spite of Joseph Boyka's influence or popularity as he claimed in Lofa County, a person that CDC supported won the elections.
Thank you kindly.
Now Senator Jala. How come Joseph Boyka influence did not exist or stop a man that CDC supported to have beaten Joseph Boyka as a candidate in Lofa County?
I can.
Excellent. Excellent. Hold on. He's asking me, so let me answer that.
I'm asking you.
Right. So this is where understanding the politics of Lofa is very important. For starters, notice that CDC could not field their own candidate in Lofa because they are not popular. So they hid behind an independent candidate. Most of the people that have been winning elections are independent candidates because CDC has lost credibility in the eyes of the Liberian people. Now, when you look at the politics of Lofa County, Lofa already has a Loma senator in there. So the Bandi people wanted to be represented. That had Jala is there. Okay? So that was a reconciliatory vote to make sure that the Bandi people are also represented in Lofa. So what do we consider as the Bandi territory? All of the districts that get home behind it. Salahun, Bolahun, Kolahun. That's where Jala came from. So his people, Bandi people, voted to have a representation there, as you already have a Loma/Kisi representation in the Senate. So that was the reconciliatory vote. But also understand that the incumbent with all his money and quote-unquote popularity could not even field a candidate in Lofa and had to
Are you also, Reverend Ade, are you also considering the Thomas Fowler's factor in Lofa County, his influence, his popularity that he commands in Lofa County? Are you considering that factor, sir?
Thank you. So let's be very clear. Thomas Fowler is not popular more than Joseph Imam Boyka in Lofa County. So yes, Thomas Fowler may have done one or two developments, but the people understand.
What is driving your judgment?
What is driving my judgment? Go and look at the statistics of the last elections, how much Joseph Boyka won Lofa County. That's what drives my judgment. Okay? So it's one thing to have a senatorial race. It's another thing to have a national elections race. And the Lofians are committed. They want to be president. And this is where you understand that politics is tribal. If Fowler runs as senator, he may win. But don't forget, he's not running for the presidency. It's a whole nother game. So Lofians want to be president for Liberia, and therefore they will galvanize their support behind none other but Joseph Imam Boyka.
Okay.
Derek?
So you're using the same metric you're using for Joseph Imam Boyka based on the performance in the previous election. Can we say the same for President Weah?
Oh, absolutely. We are highly confident that because politics is tribal, right? He will win his hometown. You know, I will be highly remiss if he doesn't win his own hometown. So let's talk about that matrix, right? So notice very well that George Weah at the time was running on a celebrity status no record of governance, purely on a coalition. But now he has a record. And what is his record? Our nation is infested with drugs. He has cut civil servant salaries, poor health care, poor education, bad roads infrastructure development. All of these are a reality. The high rate of crime in the country. All of these issues are factors. When you even look at the Southeast, I question whether or not he will win the Southeast, because when you look at Brangides, Sino, and all of those different, counties within the Southeast, he's never really done substantial development in those areas. In fact, the roads are divided.
Well,
So
the fact of the matter is, Reverend Addy, one may argue that Bwaga too has a record. He served as a vice president for 12 years under the Ellen administration, and one can use that against him to point out that he may not perform as well as he did in the previous election. What would you say to that?
Let's be very clear. In the last 12 years, the Ellen Boyka's administration paved more roads than you can imagine. In the last 12 years, your debt was erased. In the last 12 years, we've built your airport. We've built your ministerial complex. We brought CT scan, MRI machines, revitalized the healthcare system, revitalized a major hospital, built the one in Nema County. So in the last 12 years, we have a record on track compared to this current president, who was running off negotiated loans from the past 12 years of Joseph Ima Boyka administration.
Is it the same 12 years where he said he was a parked car, or it was a squander opportunity? Are you referring to those same 12 to that same 12
those same 12 years where he was a parked race car? Don't get it twisted. In other words, he was speaking in the context of the vice presidency that has its limitation. But let's look at what this parked car did, Derek. This parked car of Joseph Ima Boyka successfully, under his leadership, saw debt liquidation. He managed your One Health program that had to do with education, health, agriculture, animal farming, and the environment. That program alone brought over $30 million to Liberia. Not to mention the fact that he was also managing the disease control, the regional Regisi, and the Prevail program. He brought over $10 million for your youth empowerment program that this government stole from the children of Liberia, to the tune of the EU giving them $1 million, which they ate, in the words of Zoga Wilson. So let's be very clear. This park car is indeed a race car, and rest assured, I don't want to see him at the helm of power. Liberia will definitely look different. If he was parked and did that much for Liberia, I don't want to see him when he becomes a race car. It's a different trajectory.
It's fascinating to me how you didn't speak about the corruption, but that's a conversation for another day.
You didn't ask any question you didn't ask a question on the corruption.
Yeah, Mr. Weir, if you have, and let me give you the opportunity. We're early at the end of this show. I know Reverend Addy wants to squeeze in that last campaigning message just a couple of hours away before the polling stations open. But
Liberians must go and vote.
I will come back to you.
Go ahead, Mr. Weir.
Mr. Weir, go ahead. Your closing, please.
We can hear you, Mr. Weir.
Let's take control.
Yeah, you're loud now. Go ahead.
Okay, all those in the race are Liberians. So it's a fact, because the countries belong to all of us. And I believe that they are all running for a good intention, in a way they understand that they can help Liberia. But the difference is, for Boakai and Weir, they have already served. To be honest with Mr. Boakai, he hasn't served as a president. Vice president has a limitation. But the problem I have with him is that, I said this again, I don't trust him if he will really enforce the rule of law, which is a major problem in this country. Their old system, people worshiping leaders, is what killing the country. People are not accountable. And that is why Weir and Boakai will be no different between the two of them. We need somebody that can drastically change the current structure that rewards people in power with unlimited power of acquiring resources, use it as they want. No accountability. Because the person is a president, he can do anything. He can decide that a well is going to do a lot tomorrow. He can decide that a pump is going to the district tomorrow. That it shouldn't be. We need a system that people will understand that your lawmaker is not the one who's supposed to build your road, who's supposed to build your market. We need to have institutions so that people will compete. That if you did this as a citizen, you'll be rewarded by that. You should know what to do. There should be expectation from citizens. There should be expectation from leaders. Our citizens are supposed to know what they need to do to move forward, not to know John Brown, but there should be a requirement as a citizen of that country to do. And this is what Congress is promising, that it will not be a guessing game. It will not say, oh, because I know Reverend Adi. Reverend Adi was I were on the show. So he's this man, so I will get it. No, but it should be based on competence. There should be competition. And that's the problem I have with Ambassador Boakai. I don't know whether he can deliver to the Liberian people the peak, because the problem is there's a peak of corruption. How is he going to fight that? What is he going to do to people who steal money for their own reason, for their own purpose? That is my problem. With all the other candidates, I haven't heard from them clearly in the way Gongo is articulating how you will deal with those that will steal government money for their own gain, for their own purpose, and how the rule of law will be fixed so that there will be no selective justice. I prayed whoever wins will do something about the two killers of Liberia: rule of law, corruption. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jai Winkin. That's it for this program. Let me now give Mr. Reverend Adi the opportunity to close, and then we will draw the curtain to this program, and then we will see you here tomorrow when we will be listening into the votes being counted in Liberia. But for now, Reverend Adi, give us your closing.
My fellow Liberians, thank you so very much on behalf of the Honorable Joseph Imabwaika. Thank you for all of your support. Tomorrow is the final day to make that decision that will be highly historic, committed to changing the socio-economic and political direction of our country. Nobody can tell you or explain how best the poverty you are going through, the lack of education and great health care that you deserve. We stand here today to encourage you to make that decision that our generation can be proud of, as well as the ones unborn. And I know my friend and brother, Mr. Weah, did state he's concerned about whether or not the Honorable Joseph Imabwaika will fight corruption. Corruption is part of our pillar number 6. We intend to retrieve stolen assets of this current government officials who have wrecked our country economically. We intend to restore your schools. We intend to clean up your city. We intend to give you a life that you can live again, where rights can be affordable, where our civil servants who commit their lives, their time, their treasure to improve our country's image can enjoy a livable salary. Today we come to you to make sure that on tomorrow you vote number 2, Joseph Imabwaika. Liberia deserves better, and your vote is better than violence. Vote in peace. Vote in harmony. Don't be distracted by intimidations. Don't be distracted by the weather, because your vote today will make a difference between poverty and prosperity tomorrow. God bless you. It is our hope that you will make Liberia proud. Thank you once again for all you've done to make these elections successful. From the Honorable Joseph Imabwaika and the team. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Reverend Adi. And to those of you that join us tonight for this special edition of elections discussion, we'd like to say thank you. And to those of you that will be going out to those polling places to cast your vote tomorrow, on behalf of the network, we'd like to encourage you to please make sure that you stay away from every form of violence tomorrow and try to be as peaceful as you can possibly be. So before we wrap up the curtain for this edition of this special coverage, 2.4 million registered voters, 2,080 voting precincts, 5,890 polling places, according to the National Elections Commission website. So it will be expected that 2.4 million people will turn out tomorrow to cast their votes. So again, we wish you well. We wish that you put Liberia first in making your decision tomorrow. But more importantly, we hope and we pray that you will stay peaceful. So up until then, but again, join us tomorrow here as we will be here again having discussions on the elections results, and also make sure to tune in tomorrow. This is the Liberia Radio and Television Network. My name is Derek Yale. Until we see again on this network later on today, I should say, I would like to now wish you a pleasant good evening.
D12 on the mix. Look at them, oh na na. Look at them, cheche pole them. Look at them, see they want me to go down. Cheche pole them, look at them, oh na na. Look at them, cheche pole them. Look at them, they want me to go down. They can make it, yeah yeah. They can make it, oh yeah yeah. They can make it, yeah yeah. They can make it, oh yeah yeah. They can make it, yeah yeah. They can make it, oh yeah yeah. They can make it, yeah yeah. They can make it, oh yeah yeah. What for you shall see your face, yeah. So I'm not rushing up, I'm not stressing, no. You can love me, you can hate me. That Papa God will do the blessing when you take it from me, yeah. Oh no, that God will suck it for you too, yeah. Me I'm not fighting when you stop it from me, yeah. That God will stop it for you too, yeah. Clip on money, go. I say, move from yeah. Cheche pole, move from yeah. Move from yeah. Sake pane, move from yeah. Move from yeah. Come around, move from yeah. Look at them. Look at them. Cheche pole them. Look at them. Oh, they want me to go down. Cheche pole them. Look at them. Oh, na. Look at them. Cheche pole them. Look at them. Oh, they want me to go down. They can make it. Yeah. They can make it. Oh, yeah. They can make it. Yeah. They can make it. Oh, yeah. They can make it. Yeah. They can make it. Oh, yeah. They can make it. Yeah. They can make it. Oh, yeah. Oh, na. If I'm on a beat.